Welcome to my channel, where I share lots of recipes, tips and business strategies for aromatherapists, reflexologists and other holistic therapists.
And today I'm really excited to welcome along James Crook. James is a marketer with years of experience. He's helped loads of holistic therapists to succeed. He's given me loads of tips and advice. I've learned so much from him. James is one of the founders of the Health Leader Co. He's one of the authors of a book called Fully Booked Without Burnout, which I actually highly recommend. And James has also developed a software to make it really easy for holistic therapists to book. So,
to get notifications when I create a new video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.
I'm going to be quiet now and let James talk and share his wisdom to help you to get yourself out there and get more bookings.
Thanks, Jenny. I really appreciate being on the podcast. Absolutely amazing to be here. And I love connecting with you. I remember the first time we actually touched base, we were both presenting at a virtual conference or a virtual thing.
Right.
So
with Gail
that's right. Exactly. So it's really great to be able to connect with you again. I know you've also been a guest on our podcast. So
I love this.
some really good coordination going on, cooperation.
Yeah, and it's great to share all the information, isn't it? Like coming from different experiences.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess, as you mentioned, my background is marketing. So I thought I'll just share some sort of marketing stuff today that might be useful for your audience. Just a little bit of my background. I did run a marketing agency just on my own. I mean, I had a team, but I ran that for maybe 15 or 16 years before stepping into working specifically with the holistic health audience. Even more specifically, massage here in Australia. My wife, my life partner, as well as my business partner, is a massage therapist. So she was running her clinic at the same time as I was running my marketing agency. And we kind of like had this thing where I didn't really do much of her marketing for her. I think I built her a website, but that was about it. She did all the stuff herself. But we would often talk what was working. We would see the challenges that she had and that I was having with other clients. And we did a lot of talk around business and marketing. It was kind of our thing at the time. And so after doing that for, a decade and a half, both of those businesses, we actually, when our kids were young, we sold both of those businesses and we started doing teaching and training specifically for other people in that space to kind of broaden the horizons of how do you make business work a bit more easily. I have the kind of marketing background. Leisha's got the kind of business and treatment background and how to manage staff and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. And that's the story that's in our book too, by the way. So if you do get that book, Fully Booked Without Burnout, you'll hear all the sort of things we did in that clinic to make it work really well.
Book's great. Highly recommended.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. It was a challenge to write and good fun as well. And obviously we wrote all that before we had ChatGPT and all the stuff people are using right now to do marketing and writing. So it has got a lot easier to produce content, but we did it the long way, which is great. It was really good. And that's an audiobook as well. We recorded the audiobook ourselves too. So you get to hear these Aussie accents if you download the audiobook too.
Love your Aussie accent.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I love your Irish accent. I think it's absolutely beautiful speaking with you guys. One of the best things, I think, I'm getting so distracted, but I'm just going to say this. One of the best things about running the business that we do now, I reckon, is we work with people all over the world. So honestly, I get on the phone with people. I get to do Zooms or live videos with people with so many different accents, so many people experiencing very similar things, but from all different parts of the Western world. So really, really interesting. So what I thought when you invited me to come on, I was thinking, what can I do that I might be able to share that could be really good for your audience, for holistic therapists, whether that's aromatherapy, massage, related stuff, kinesiology, all that kind of thing. And one of the common things that people do have a challenge with, especially at the moment, is literally just getting more bookings, getting enough bookings to be filled, whether they've got like a clinic space, maybe they've got more than one person there, or whether they are much smaller, a micro solo business. Often people in this industry, it's quite common to be working around other parts of life. We have people with kids, they're only working part-time, all that kind of stuff. Which is, it's great. It's a very flexible lifestyle for people who want it to be like that.
Yeah.
But even at that point, people are like, well, I don't want to have to spend half my time doing the marketing and admin for this.
No.
I just want to be doing the good stuff with my clients and making money from it. So I can, yeah, that's right. That's why we get into this industry, right? So
yeah.
So I thought I'd share just from the experience that we've got, not just in marketing, but across the world of looking at therapists everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of things that people do that can be quite simple, that can make the biggest difference. And one of the frameworks that we teach in our programs, we call it the levels of awareness.
Oh, yeah.
And levels of awareness is around, it's kind of a way of being able to categorize the people that you're speaking to or with when we do our marketing, so that we can see what type of message or what type of marketing is going to work best for them, depending on their level of awareness, depending on how aware they are. And when we talk about awareness, it basically splits into 4 categories. Right at the bottom, like I'm normally drawing this on a thing, but right at the bottom of the pyramid, there's the people who are unaware, completely unaware. And when I say unaware, I mean they don't have a problem, or they're not aware of any problems. So they don't even know that they need a solution, or they don't even want one at all. Like they're just completely never going to be a client because they just got no knowledge or awareness that they need anything.
Yeah.
Cool. So we just ignore them completely. No purpose doing anything else. But the next level up, they're people who are problem aware, meaning they're experiencing something in their life that they know is a problem. It could be something very, very physical. It could be symptoms like they're feeling they've got a sore elbow or whatever. Or it can be something that's more like a dissatisfaction with life. They're not sleeping properly. Like whatever those symptoms are, they know they've got a challenge. They're aware of it, but they don't really know what to do about it. Maybe it's the first time they've come across this. They don't have a solution for it themselves yet because they've just never discovered that. So they're people who are, we call them problem aware.
Yeah.
And the next level above problem aware is solution aware. These are the people who they've got the problem and they know there is a solution.
Right.
And this is where marketing can get very, very direct and very connected. Because if someone knows that they've got a problem and they want a kinesiologist to solve it, so they know there's a solution out there, kinesiology, then they're going to be jumping on Google, Googling kinesiology in my area, or they'll pop in their suburb name or whatever it is. And so at that level, marketing becomes much easier because those people know that they're looking for someone just like you. And all you've got to do is kind of like get in front of them at the right time, join the dots a little bit, look professional enough or friendly enough that they want to actually talk. And it's a really good sweet spot to actually market to.
Yeah.
And then after that, right at the top of the pyramid, the smallest part of the audience, but the most powerfully connected part is people who are actually you aware.
Yes.
So they've got a problem, they know there's a solution, and they know you actually do that. So it's like they've got some problem, they know I'd love to see an aromatherapist. And I've been to see Jenny once before, a year or two ago. She's awesome. So those people are like booking themselves in, basically. If it's easy enough to, if they can find you and click through and they remember, they're really, really direct. They're really ready to go. So when we look at the actual types of marketing that we do, the very practical, tactical stuff, which we'll happy to share some of that stuff in a minute. We kind of want to look at the levels of awareness and be a little bit intentional around where and how we're marketing, because those people right at the top in the you aware section, they're the most likely to buy from you, to book in. But if you're just starting out, there's not many people in that yet, right? Like there's not many people in that sector. So you got to look for the next one down. You say, well, okay, I want solution aware people. Then let's look for people who are aware that they want what I do. How can I get in front of them? And there's some very specific and great marketing we can do for that. And yet still, sometimes that is a limited audience. It's like, how many people are actually aware that kinesiology is the solution to their challenges? Like that solution where it might not be a huge sector yet, depending on where you live and the kind of community that you're part of. So if they're not even aware of that yet, then we start moving down to the next one and we say, okay, well, if there's just not enough people who know they need me or what I do yet, then let's start looking at people who know they've got a problem, and I've got to do some more educational style marketing to actually show them that kinesiology or massage or whatever it is going to be the thing that can help them. And by the way, I actually do this. I'm pretty good at it. So they're like, we're working them up the levels. So it does take a bit more effort to market to those people, but there's a lot more people around like that. So we kind of can create more momentum and more clientele from that as we go.
Yeah. Huge. Yeah. Yeah. I always tell it's really important to let people know what your therapies can actually do, because if you have like a back pain or whatever, you might not know that massage is going to help. You might think, oh yeah, it's really relaxing and it's pampering. No, it's going to ease your pain. It's going to help your posture. It's going to do so much for you. So yeah, I say just shout about what you can do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. And when it comes to marketing, it depends a lot on the actual modality or what it is that you think of yourself as doing.
Yes.
The word massage is very well known worldwide. Lots of people know massage, and they might have a limited understanding of what it can do, but they usually everyone's heard of it. And if they haven't had a massage yet, they at least know kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about things like kinesiology, aromatherapy, or even if you start getting into very specific things like, I don't know, rolfing or Bowen therapy, these things that people in the industry, if they've studied it, they're very familiar with what it does. But someone out in the world, if you say, oh, I'm a rolfer,
they go, what?
99% of people are going to be like, what? Do you mean a golfer? Like, what are you talking about? So it's very much, you've got to talk about the outcomes that you get and the type of symptoms or type of conditions that you treat.
Yes.
Because those are things people can relate to.
Yeah.
You might still use the word. You might say, I'm a rolfer. Ha, 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 ha. That means that I treat this kind of condition and this is the kind of outcome that I get. And then people can go, oh, I've got a sore lower back. That might be exactly what I need. What did you call it again? It's like the actual name of it isn't as important.
Yeah.
But the challenge can be, if you've studied it for a year or two, you just sort of forget that other people don't know all that stuff, right? So I see when people get out there with marketing, they're using all these long words, they're talking about muscle things that they've learned and all this stuff. And unless your audience is a fairly well-educated one, none of that stuff is going to hit home particularly well. You just got to talk about what people are experiencing themselves, the symptoms that they're experiencing or the conditions, and what it's like when they don't have those things, because that's where they want to get to, right? We think, where are you right now, and what is your aspiration? Where do you want to get to? That's what marketing's all about. I feel like I'm taking like a whole marketing course and trying to just talk about it in a few minutes here, Jenny. So I'm trying to keep it really, really simple. But as much as people can, if you can just focus on where people are right now and where they want to get to, that's really the core of good marketing, especially if we're talking to problem aware and solution aware audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. So I did think, like, given that context of the levels of awareness, then it comes down to how do we actually do marketing? How do we get in front of people? And sometimes I know when I say to people, oh, do you do marketing? The first thing people think of is social media posting.
Yeah.
And they actually say, oh, yes, I've got a social media page. And I think, oh, well, to me, marketing is a lot more than that. And I know I'm doing that thing because I studied marketing. It's like I'm aware of all this stuff. And sometimes people just interpret it a bit differently. So what I wanted to do is just break it down to the very simplest actual activities, the marketing things you can do that might be the most direct for getting clients in the door.
Yeah, perfect.
Because I was actually speaking to someone just this week about this. It's like marketing, the type of activities we do in marketing are a little bit like on a spectrum of the purpose that we have for it. At one end, we've got what we call direct response marketing. We do a thing, a marketing thing, because we want people to do something immediately. We want a response.
Yeah.
So for us, that might be, I do an ad because I want bookings. In the ad, I say, click here to book. It's very direct. It's very much a response. And people think of that when they think of marketing, which is exactly right. It is a type of marketing. But right at the other end, the extreme other end of this spectrum, we have things that have no actual direct application at all, but are building our brand reputation. So they're basically just building an understanding of who we are and what we do, becoming well known in our community. But the piece of marketing has no actual direct, no like click to book. It's just something else. It might be educational, or it might even just be an image. A really classic example of brands that do this well are big luxury brands. So you think about something like Rolex, You know, you open a magazine when you're on a flight, you've got the in-flight magazine, you see the Rolex ad. It's just got a photo of some like handsome looking dude wearing a suit and he's holding his hand up like this to his chin. And there's this beautiful Rolex watch there. And there's usually just, 3 words. You'll say like Rolex, extreme sophistication, whatever it might be. But there's no like, buy it now. It costs $2,000. Like there's nothing like that. It's just building the brand of Rolex. And what they're relying on is that when we associate that brand, when we know it so well, when we get to a place where we want to buy a luxury watch, if and when we ever get to that place, we're going to think, well, I need a Rolex. Like they're the brand that speaks to that level.
Yes.
So there's no, or very rarely, direct response stuff in that kind of branding. So when we want to build our business long term, we do want to make sure that we are actually getting at their building reputation, that we want people to know who we are and what we do. We want to kind of have that awareness in our community. That's the long-term stuff. And at the same time, we want to make sure we are actually telling people, click here to book, or download my thing or whatever it might be. Like there's got to be some kind of direct access sometimes.
Yes.
And I think of it a little bit like fishing in a pond, or like scooping fish in a net out of a pond. It's like we throw out food, we use content and that kind of stuff to attract people in. We have this kind of attraction model with some of our marketing. We're not telling people exactly to book yet, but we're just out there, we're feeding them, we're getting them milling about, we're getting them interested, we're creating community, creating connection. And then
it's all about as well, James, people need to see you a certain number of times before they will book with you. And if you've seen somebody a certain number of times, subconsciously you think, oh, she must be good. And you don't let about her, but just because you've seen her on Facebook twice, once on LinkedIn, once on a podcast or whatever, oh, she's good. Would you think that's right, yeah?
It is exactly right. It's part of the reason that we build that long-term brand, especially with your face.
Yeah.
It's a psychological principle. It's seen that people trust you more if they've literally just seen you more. This is why if you've got local council elections where you are, depending around the world where people are, often local councillors will put up photos, like they'll have posters down the street. It's literally just their face and their name. They don't even say anything about what they're standing for or why you would vote for them. It just says, vote 1, big photo, James Crook.
They're all over the place.
And they know that people are often pretty unaware of their local councillors. They don't have the big profile that like your state or federal level politicians do. So if you're in the voting booth for your local council and you see anyone that you even recognize their name, you're more likely to vote for them. It's just a psychological thing. So it's a bit the same with us. Yeah, it's right. You just want to get in front of people. You want to be helpful. You want to build that brand according to the values that you have for your brand. So especially if you're health or something, you want to be seen as being healthy, doing health-driven stuff. If you're working a lot with sports people, you want to be seen around sports. You want to be seen treating other sports people. Like you're kind of just building that reputation around what it is that you do.
Yes.
And that's kind of like feeding the fish in the pond. And then when we have an actual ad that says click here to book, it's kind of like getting our scoop and scooping the net.
Yes.
So when there's more fish, you're more likely to catch them in the scoop, right? If you're not doing the feeding, if no one knows who you are, it's really hard to scoop. It's really hard to get people to book. And if all you ever do, conversely, if all you ever do is just give out the content, but you never actually tell someone what they can do as a service with you, then you don't catch anything. You don't get the fish. So we kind of want to have a balance of both as we go. So I've chosen a few strategies or a few tactics that people can use to try and get just a sliver of cross section of the levels of awareness and the kind of different types of marketing that you do. The very first thing that is honestly one that some people miss, but is just the easiest way to get new bookings, is go back to past clients, right? Yes. So if your levels of awareness we were just talking about, past clients are right at the top. They are the easiest to market to. They already know what you do. They've probably already had treatment with you or some kind of engagement with you. Maybe you even helped them so much last time that they haven't needed to come back. So they've had a really good experience. But if you haven't seen a client for anywhere from 2 months onwards, like some people they'll look in their records. You might have hundreds of clients that you haven't seen over the years. If you've been practicing for a while, other people, if you're newer, it might be a small number. But if you can look back and say, well, who have I seen more than 2 months ago who doesn't have a future booking? Like they're not currently active, they're past. You can just start going through that list and just talk to them all. Don't be distant. Don't send them an email this is like what we want to do is create personal connection. So we don't want some email that just looks like spam. It looks like a newsletter that's got corporate language and uses your business name. Instead, we want it to sound like it's from you, right? And just be connected. If you want to do this really well, you actually do them one by one personally. But if that takes too much time, depending on numbers, you can automate it a bit. But I prefer SMS because SMS messages on your phone get read way more than email.
That's right. The more urgent, aren't they? Whereas the emails say, "Oh, I'll get to that again," but a text you automatically open it, and or a WhatsApp. Yeah,
that's right. WhatsApp, same sort of thing. So you can actually see that the stats reflect it. We do both with our members, our clients. And you can see an average open rate on email might be something like 30%, which means only 30% of people are even clicking on the email to open it.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
And then who knows how many are reading it, that's just clicking on it. Whereas SMS, it'll be in the high 90s%. So it might be 98% of people will read an SMS. So it's just completely different. It's much shorter, it's much more personal, it's much more direct, and people get them. Even the language around it, you say, I got an SMS. You say, I check my emails. I've got to go do something to check emails, whereas I just get the SMS. It's there straight away. The language reflects how we engage with them. So if you can, SMS people. That's the long and short of it. It's look back, and a short SMS, if they haven't been in for too long, might just be something very simple like, hey, James, I just noticed that it's been a couple of months since we last saw you. I hope everything is going really, really well. Let me know if that, whatever it is, has been resolved completely, or if you'd like another appointment, I've got some time this Thursday.
And
so it's very gentle.
Friendly, helpful.
Exactly. Friendly, helpful, very gentle. We're not ramming a special offer down their throat. We're just kind of saying, hey, if you want to, how's it going? If you want another treatment, I've got some time. So we're kind of giving them a very specific time too, if you can, say this Thursday or Friday or whatever. And if they come back and say, I can't make those times, but I'll have an appointment, of course, you just book them in. But the point is we're just trying to be very simple and quite open and direct.
And I say, James, as well, rather than send an automated email to 100 people and say, I hope you're well, blah, blah. Dear James, I noticed your neck and shoulders were really tight last time. I hope that's better. I think you're better off taking the time to send out 10 emails today, or 10 texts today and 10 texts tomorrow, and whatever. And then you're really talking to somebody.
Absolutely. Quality and connection makes a big difference.
Huge.
And I think sometimes we get a bit put off because if I look in my emails, I see a lot of corporate stuff. I see a lot of not very personal stuff. A lot of it is just advertising from businesses that I bought something from once. And so sometimes as business owners, we kind of subconsciously think that's how we should behave as business owners. But the point is, as a solo practitioner with clients that you spend time with in person, part of your advantage over those big corporate things is people actually know you. Your clients get to know you, right? They come, they talk with you, they see you face to face. You get to know a lot about them, and they get to know some about you as well. So it's a very personal connection is what you can create. So you should just use that in your communications. Don't try and sound more corporate, try and sound more personal.
Absolutely.
And as time goes on, if it has only been a couple of months, very personal SMSs are a great way to go. If it's been a year or two, they might not even remember who you are. So you might need to adjust the language a little bit. We've got some frameworks that kind of talk about the different stages and different kind of messages that can go through.
Say where you were, you might remember I met you in Malahide and you had A, B, and C and whatever. Something like that.
Yeah. Or you might have something that is more generic as people who haven't been in for over a year. Maybe you do have some kind of special offer. You might be like, hey, I know it's been a while since you came in. Just sort of let you know we've got a special offer on whatever for autumn or summer. If it's something that might interest you, click here. You can be a little bit more direct. It becomes a little bit more like public marketing. Like it's almost like moving down the levels of awareness. So it's sort of saying, well, I do have their phone number or their email address, so they are a connection, but they probably don't remember me as well anymore, or they haven't been connected for a while. So I'm just going to open up the language a little bit more. Which is cool. So that's kind of number one, is go back to your past clients, be personal, and just get bookings out of that. And lots of people watching this or listening to this, if you go do that this week, send out 10 SMSs a day for a couple of days, as you mentioned, Jenny, you'll probably get half a dozen bookings from that, right? Like it's such a direct, it's just so good and so easy to be able to connect with those people. So that's number one.
That's great, James. So simple. Costs nothing.
So simple.
Actually nothing. That's great.
Exactly. The challenge can be if you don't have many people in that category. So if you are just starting out, or you haven't had lots of clients in the past, or you move to a new area, like whatever, there's a lot of scenarios where people will be like, sounds great, James, but I just can't do that. I don't have those people on my list yet. Or I just don't have enough to get the number of bookings that I want. So the next tactic, we're kind of moving down the levels of awareness. So I have chosen one for people who are solution aware. So the SMSs are you aware, you've got their contacts. Next level is solution aware. They might not know you yet in this scenario, but they know that they want what it is you do. So they want the solution that you offer, but they don't know it's you. So this is where Google search works really well, because you've got someone typing in massage in my suburb or massage in my area. Sometimes people even say massage near me. And if they are searching for your service, it tells us two things. A, they're basically ready to buy that. That's why they're searching. They want to find someone that they can buy this from, that they can connect with. And B, they don't have a current practitioner, or they don't have someone that they're actually already in mind that they want to book with. So they're perfect, right? That's a perfect new client. You get in front of them. It's like, sweet. How could I meet more people like that? Well, Google is the way, because they're on Google because they meet those two criteria. So if you can get found in Google, and not just get found, but you've got to look like what they're looking for. So you got to look, relatively professional and friendly, and like you actually do the service that they're offering, and you can solve their problem. You've got to tick a few boxes. But assuming you can do that, they're going to book in. They're probably going to be a great client. It's a really good way. Google can be free. If you've got a website or you've got yourself on Google Maps, you get a bunch of reviews, can really help the maps ranking rise up. And you happen to be geographically close to the person when they're searching, that helps a lot with maps. It can be free. You can get those things for free. And you can also pay. You can pay for Google Ads to just say, well, I don't care about spending all that time trying to get myself found for free. I'm just going to pay. The good thing about paying for Google Ads is you get to choose, when someone searches for these words, I want my ad to appear. And you only pay when people click on the ad. There's actually no fee in Google to just appear. The only fee you pay is when someone clicks, which means, it's not a guaranteed booking. You might only get a booking out of every 20 people that click, like who knows, but you're not paying just to appear there, which is different on Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. You pay just to have your ad there, whether they click or not. But Google is a pay per click model, which is great. You still set budgets and stuff. I only want to spend whatever it might be, $30, $100 a month, or pounds, or whatever you use.
Or euro.
That's it, euros, whatever. You set your budget, and it tries to get you the number of clicks to meet the budget, but you're only paying when people click, which is a really good and safe model for advertising. So my number two, have a look at Google. Either put in the work, do what you need to get reviews, get on the map, or get your website found for free. And or consider paid ads, which you might need to do a bit of learning about how to do that as well if you haven't ever used it before. But it's just like anything else. You can learn it if you spend an afternoon watching a few YouTube videos. You'll figure it out, or do a training on it. You'll be able to get that work. Exactly. So that's number two. Number three is something that is a little bit more leveraged. So we're starting to look, instead of people who are solution aware, let's move down to people who are problem aware.
Yes.
Problem aware, there's a lot more of them out in the world. They know they've got a problem, but they're just not doing anything about it. They don't even know that massage can help with this.
Yeah.
And I often think of things like, say, sports people. They've been playing footy on the weekend. They pull a hammy. They kind of, there might be a massage therapist down at the club that works on them at halftime or whatever, but they've just never really ever done any self-care before because they're young or they're getting older or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they don't really know. They don't have a pattern for what do I do when this happens.
Yeah.
And a classic scenario, especially in groups or clubs, is they just get advice from the people around them. Someone else will say, oh, you need to go see Jenny. She always sorts me out. She helps me every time I pull a hammy, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And those kind of referrals is where we start to see, there's a lot of other marketing we can do, but referrals are the most powerful marketing in that problem-aware
Absolutely. If your friend says it's good, I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And those people who are problem aware, if they're aware enough that they've got a problem, will often ask people they know or trust, what's the solution to this?
Yeah.
They'll go to the people at the club, or they'll go to their family, they'll go to their partner or their mum and say, I've got this happening, what's it? Or other health professionals that they trust. So for example, if it's something that is more like an ongoing condition, maybe they're having trouble sleeping, or psychologically they're having some emotional difficulties, they'll often go to someone like a GP, get checked out, and the GP will do a referral to another health professional, or however, they'll use the network of trusted advisors, whatever that might look like, to be able to find people. So how can we then make sure that we are not just passively relying on referrals that might or might not happen from our clients or people that know us? Because that's going to happen. We're going to get referrals from our current clients. They talk. Great. Yeah. But how can we actually proactively encourage referrals?
Yes.
And one of the strategies that we teach, this is mentioned in our book as well, is what we call a give to get strategy. Give to get basically means we're giving something in order to get something. And so a really classic way of doing this is to use things that are vouchers or a gift certificate, a gift voucher or gift certificate, gift card. Around the world, people use different words for these things, right? But basically what I mean is a certificate or a gift card that says you get a free treatment or a free type of treatment. Absolutely free, but only the card can only be given to you by someone else. It's not just on my website to download, or I'm not putting it on social media. It's like only for referrals. And so we, for example, used this when we'd been traveling for a little while. We actually spent a season living at the snow when we were young. Before we had kids, you do that kind of stuff, So we did that. We came back to a hometown after a few months of living at the snow, and Leisha's client base had declined a lot because she was away for 4 months, so there was this bit of getting people back.
Yeah.
And she was like, what can we do to make sure that the handful of people that I do have back, that are my loyal clients, are going to refer? I want more people next month. So everyone who came in, she gave them 2 vouchers only 2. And they both said 50% off your second treatment. So it wasn't even much of a discount. It wasn't actually a freebie.
Yeah.
But because those clients knew Leash, they loved her treatments, they were all probably sitting around at, lunch with their friends saying, oh, I've had a treatment this week, you should go see Leisha. And the friends will go, oh, yeah. But the second you've got a voucher and you can say, no, seriously, like, here, I've got this. She gave me these to give to a couple of people, and I thought of you straight away because you're always complaining about sciatica. Here. So you've got like a very intentional way of actually encouraging people to give a referral. And so you do that with your current clients. Leash doubled her clients, or doubled her bookings every month for 3 months in a row, which basically got her to fully booked after 3 months just by doing that strategy.
Wow.
Because those new people, she's giving them vouchers as well. The people who come in from there, they come in a second time. She's giving them another two certificates. So it's just a way of being able to
have it booking again. They get the idea, it's not just one off, I have to go back to my second one. You go back to your second one and say, I need another one. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So that's the very specific good way of doing that. And they only get the discount on the second visit. So you're not losing money on that first visit. If people are just in it for a freebie, they're not going to take it up.
Yeah.
So it's got that advantage. The main give to get strategy that we promote in our training, we talk about that one as well. But if you want to go bigger with that, because that still relies just on your actual clients, right?
Yes.
So if you're starting from scratch, or you've got very small clientele, or they've already used up their sort of networks themselves, it's going to be limited to how much it can happen. So you can broaden it out by saying, I'm not just giving vouchers to my current clients, but I'm going to approach other communities, other people who have followers, clubs, businesses, schools, anywhere where there's kind of a community of people gathering around something. And I'm going to go to them with this proposition. I'm going to say, I am going to give you a certificate for a free 30-minute treatment. I'm talking massage here because we can break it down quite easily. Free 30-minute treatment for anyone who becomes a new member of your gym in the month of June, for example, or just anyone, actually. It doesn't even have to just be new members. It could be anyone. And so that gym will be like, oh, yeah, that sounds all right. And you say, look, these vouchers, 30-minute treatment with me is worth $65. I'm giving you 200 of them. I'm basically giving you, well, I can't do the maths on that in my head fast enough, but whatever that is, it's like $1,800 worth of vouchers or whatever it is for free for you to give to your members. Like, and the gym owner will be like, sweet, this is a bonus for me. I'm giving my members an added value. They're getting something for free. It's a win-win for everyone in this scenario.
The gym owner looks really good.
Yeah, that's right. And the point is that as long as it's a business or a community that, like a gym is classic if you're a massage therapist who works with sports people, because they're perfect clients. My gym people are going to come in. I know how to work with sports people. I'm going to do some treatments. They're always getting sore, so they're going to be great clients. So I'm happy to give away that first smaller treatment in order to gain that client long term. And we actually, in the strategy, we even have training where, like, when someone books that 30-minute treatment, even before they come in, we don't just give them the freebie. We call them and we say, right, you've booked a 30-minute treatment. So happy you did that. Sounds really good. Tell me a bit about what's going on. And they'll say, oh, I've been working out extra at the gym. I just started whatever, it's pre-season at footy. And I've got sore hammies, whatever. And the person goes, right, I completely understand. Fantastic. I tell you what, though, we probably could use a 60-minute treatment, would be way more effective than 30 minutes on this. We can upgrade you just for the difference. So you're not paying for that first 30-minute treatment, but, you know, giving you $65 for free. An hour's normally $110, so you're only paying the difference, whatever it is, $40, $45. How's that sound? The person will often say, yeah, that's great. You know, they're still getting a massive discount, but at least you're covering some of your expenses for that treatment.
Yeah.
It's still a discount, but it's a targeted discount to the exact type of person utilizing referrals in that problem-aware arena. So it's a very specific tactical way of being able to get high-quality new clients using that discount. So that's another really, really good one. And I remember the first time I'd heard of someone using this strategy, they actually they did it as a sponsorship for an event rather than through another business like that. So she had gone with Million Paws Walk. I don't know if this is something that's just Australian or if this is worldwide, but it's like a fundraiser for animal welfare. And so you get everyone who's got a dog, they all get together and walk their dog for 2K. I can't remember how it works, but there's like a whole bunch of dogs. Everyone has fun. They walk around. Million Paws Walk, they call it down here. Anyway, she'd gone to them and said, hey, you're running a Million Paws Walk event. I'd love to sponsor it. And they're like, oh, it costs this much. And she's like, what if I just sponsor you with vouchers? You know, I'll give you $2,000 worth of vouchers. You can pop one in every goodie bag for everyone who comes along. There was like 200 people or something. And so she's essentially giving away, exactly like I said, 30-minute, this was a massage therapist, 30-minute treatments, 200 of them. She got however many came in, you put a short expiry on it, so they have to come in. They don't just stick it in a drawer and forget about it. It's like a 2-week expiry. Yep. And she was fully booked from that one marketing campaign, never needed to do another piece of marketing again because enough of those people came in, became regulars, that then the kind of reputational, more passive referrals is just enough to keep you busy after that. So if you can get big numbers, if you can give away hundreds or even thousands of these vouchers, it's just a no-brainer that you get enough people come in and become clients. You just have to find the right the right partner, the right person to partner with that you can give those away. There you go. I feel like
health food stores and yoga studios, they'd be ideal, wouldn't they?
absolutely, yeah. Anything like that we're seeing people mill about. So you kind of look for who your target audience is, and then you think about who are the other trusted health professionals or community leaders in that space. So say, for example, you do aromatherapy or something like naturopathy or something that's like, maybe you work with, I'm just going to make this up, but say maybe you work with women's health, right? So you're doing aromatherapy, but you focus in on young women trying to get pregnant or young mums. It's like, well, who else works in that space? Right. Well, there's the actual medical professionals, like the mainstream medical things. You might be thinking midwives or, people in that more sort of mainstream thing. Then you go, okay, well, who's broader than that? Well, there might be local groups for young mums. There might be like young mum coffee morning sort of thing, or mums groups that just meet to talk about that kind of stuff. Awesome. That's a good brainstorm. What about other health professionals that are not the mainstream ones, but might be people like massage therapy? There's often massage for pregnancy. That's a big thing. Like it's its own little niche. And so you start to just brainstorm that out. And then you're like, actually, one that just came to mind right then might be something like kinder or your preschool kind of actual preschools. Like obviously, they've got a bunch of people who've already had kids, but people often have kids more than one, so maybe the older sibling is going to be at preschool and the mum is pregnant with the next one, like that can happen.
You could have the birth doulas or the pregnancy yoga classes, pregnancy Pilates. Once you start thinking,
you brainstorm it all out, and then you just start looking for people in your local area that are doing that stuff, and then you just start connecting with them. It's you can't be shy with this strategy, right? You've got to actually connect. Again, you can't just send an email and sort of say, oh, I saw you do yoga for women and I've got this kind of thing. It's like, no, just send them an email, give them a call. That's right. Go down and visit them, shake their hand, buy them a coffee, invite them in for a treatment. If it is a treatment that you can do, like if it's not a conditional based treatment, if it's not like that you always work with people who have some health condition, if it's like you can just come in, you can experience what I do, have a bit of a chat about it, and I want to just see if it's possible that this might be something that would work for your clients. Let's just wait and see. Not everyone will say yes, but some will. Some will be excited by that. They'll be really happy to meet you. So if the first person you get on the phone isn't happy, like if they're just like, oh yeah, that's all good, but I'm not interested, Jenny. It's like, don't get put off. Just be like, no worries, no hard feelings, all good. Next person, until you find that one that says, oh, that sounds really interesting. Actually, let's do it. So,
and so bear in mind, you're actually helping the teacher, practitioner, whatever, as well as the clients. Because if I'm giving my clients a voucher, or if they have a problem, I can say, actually, Alicia is great for back problems. They go to Alicia, happy days, and you get half the credit for it. I go to her class again. She gave me great advice.
Exactly right. And you might even be in a position to do cross referrals. It's like, obviously, I'm setting myself up to work with pregnant women. I can advise yoga for them too. And now I know someone who does yoga really well for this same niche. Great. Let's cross refer. So there's always opportunities that are out there for that. You just got to kind of be open to looking for them and proactively stepping out to make those connections if you want to.
I've actually done that and it works really, really well.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's tapping into the problem-aware people that aren't aware of a solution yet. So it often means there's a lot more people, like the numbers are just bigger. There's a lot more opportunities in that area. However, sometimes they do take a bit more work to connect, which is why the referral strategy works really well, because referrals are such a high-quality connection.
Absolutely.
They trust whoever it is that's referring, so it's much easier to take the next steps as well. So there you go, Jenny. So we kind of talked about three things, right? That kind of match the three levels of awareness. The you aware people, we're talking about just get in touch, do SMSs. The what's next one? Solution aware people. It's like, let's do Google as our one for that, because they know what they want. They're looking for it. We can get in front of them. And then if we want to step down to the next level, the tactic that we've got for the problem aware people is let's use our referral network intentionally and strategically to get out there and leverage those referrals.
Yeah.
Whew. If anyone can do all of that stuff, they're going to be like set. It's a pretty solid strategy if you can do all those three things.
It is, but I mean, you could do it all. You could say, this month I'm going to focus on sending out text. Next month I'm going to get me head around Google My Business. And then the next month I'm going to go out to 3 yoga studios or whatever and break it down. And gradually, you not even that gradually, you build up, I'd say, fairly quickly with some of them. Like if I have a voucher for €30 for my second massage and my shoulders are killing me, well, I'm going to go to that therapist, not another therapist, because I'm getting the discount. And I'm going to go
exactly
twice,
right.
and then probably 6 times because, whatever.
Yeah, exactly right. And I also think with marketing, I know some people love it, but a lot of people just don't. They're not in this industry because they love, I don't know, making little graphics for social media or whatever. They're in it because they love people. They love like the real world and they're very kinesthetic and spiritual. So I kind of understand that too. And I think you only need to do as much marketing as you need to actually get the results with the people that you want.
Yeah.
And because of my background, I'm really interested in communication. And I just see marketing is such a great opportunity to connect with people. It's just that you're kind of connecting with them before you're face to face.
Yes.
So if you think about it that way, it's like, it's just an extension of what you're already kind of good at and probably already doing in the room.
Yes.
We just sort of want to extend that out further to how can we do that with people who I don't know yet? And that's kind of what marketing is.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying everyone needs to do hours of marketing every week. Maybe you do it. If you don't have any clients at all, you've got the time anyway, right? Like maybe you're doing that to try and build up.
Yeah.
But once you've got enough clientele, you don't need to do more stuff. You can just kind of take the pressure down, take your foot off the marketing pedal a little bit, you might need to still do some stuff to kind of make up for the clients that drop off, but you don't need to push as hard. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're listening to this thinking, oh my goodness, James, that sounds like a lot of work. It's like, yeah, it is. And if you're starting from scratch and want to do it all, it is going to be a fair bit. But most people are not in that position. Most people just need to do exactly what they need to be able to get the results that they want. And it's probably not going to take that much effort, honestly. It's just doing the right things at the right time make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. James, can you tell me a bit about your Practice Pro?
Yeah, sure. So we mentioned this earlier. This is some software that we run. So obviously, I mean, I run a business. I do business coaching specifically for massage and health and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 business partners as well, Alicia, my wife, who I mentioned, and Christine Knox, who teaches some modality subjects as well as being one of our business coaches too. So we do a lot of work in this space, specifically around helping massage and holistic therapists get better business results.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do, aside from all the sort of training and programs and stuff, is we've got this software that we've developed that we supply to the industry called Your Practice Pro, which is kind of like marketing software specifically designed for people in this industry that can also handle the practice management side of things, especially for smaller businesses. If you're solo or if you've got just a handful of team members, it can really do a lot of the sort of calendar work and client notes and that kind of stuff as well. But the real core strength of it is the marketing side. Like, for example, you can send SMSs through the software. So you can just jump in there, send them to your list of people. You can look at who hasn't had a treatment for the last 8 weeks or more that doesn't have a future booking. You just get a list. You can send the SMSs one by one if you want, or you can just write an SMS that's kind of like a mail merge. It says insert the person's name here and then send it to everyone from this sort of list that I've created. So it just makes that kind of stuff really easy.
Yeah.
It handles your Google reviews requests, so you can automate after every treatment. I'll just send people a reminder to leave me a review. It's got the link. It just makes it really easy for people to click and leave it. So it handles that kind of stuff. And it also can handle when people redeem vouchers, who has redeemed it, what discounts do they get, who does this kind of stuff. If you set it up right, you can handle that kind of stuff really well too. So it's just kind of got a lot of that stuff built into it. It's something that is super valuable for people who are wanting to implement those kind of strategies and save time. So it's not for everyone. If you are happy to sit there doing the SMSs by hand just from your phone, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, right? Like it's a great way to start.
Yeah.
But as you get a bit more organized, or as your business gets a bit busier and you're like, oh, I just don't want to have to spend half an hour doing that. Like I want to simplify it, or I want to automate it, or I've got a couple of people on board now and it's all just the admin is like way bigger than it used to be. I want to have something that's going to help with that. This software really simplifies a lot of management of that kind of marketing and practice management stuff. So yeah, it's called Your Practice Pro. Website is yourpractice.pro.
Right.
And I'm sure you can pop a link or something in the show notes here,
Absolutely.
Jenny, for people who might be interested.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of training available for free on that page as well. So you can click through and like watch a demo and see what it looks like and all that kind of stuff, as well as just hear some kind of more marketing things. There's a group on Facebook for it as well called like Your Practice Pro Official. So you can go and have a look at the group, join the group. It's just sort of people asking questions about how to use the software when they're members, as well as new features and stuff, and we pop them in. There we go. So it's a pretty solid solution for people who it's right for. What I would say, Jenny, is if anyone is looking at it and thinking, I don't know if it's right for me or not, on that webpage there is a link to book a call, and you can just book in. I'll have a chat with you, I'll listen, I'll show you what it could do to help. And it just makes it easier sometimes then to make a decision about whether it is something you want to have a look at or not, to get a personal one-on-one demo. So happy to do that kind of stuff.
That's great. It sounds like it's going to help you to increase your bookings, and it's going to save your workload. So it's probably going to pay for itself fairly quickly. Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah. For the people who it's right for, it does a whole lot of stuff. And so we've got people who are just solo members using it pretty much simply. They might just use the calendars, then they use it for the kind of client communications, that kind of thing. Easy. They're not even using 3/4 of what it does, but they still just kind of are using it for what makes it easier for them. Yeah. And then we've got other people at the other end who have got a handful of staff. They've even got their own admins sometimes that will be using Your Practice Pro to do the marketing, because it just saves them time, keeps things organized. You schedule your stuff through social media in there. It's got AI integrated that can even automatically answer phones and stuff. It's got so many different features that I get excited about. But
I heard your AI bot when you did a demonstration on Facebook.
How fun is AI?
Oh, I thought it was
It's look, AI is coming ahead in leaps and bounds. I mean, we probably don't want to go into it too much right now, but that's a whole separate talk. It's something that works quite well at the moment, is probably how I would say, but it's not perfect. So we've got a bunch of AI stuff in there, but for the moment, I would still say, I don't know, maybe 90% of the people we have using Your Practice Pro they're writing their own messages. They're doing the stuff themselves. The AI is in there and usable, but I kind of think AI itself, give it another 6 months, 12 months, it's going to be really, really good. And that's when we'll see people jumping on board in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's great, Jim. So look, I'll stick the link for the Practice Pro in the show notes, and the link. Have you got a different link for your main website with all your training?
Yeah, for sure.
Well?
Yep,
I'll stick that below as well. Go ahead.
Healthleaderco.com. We'll pop that in there too.
Yeah, that's fine. And you have a podcast that's also called healthleaderco.com or healthleaderco.
We've got everything, Jenny. We got a podcast and a YouTube channel, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook.
What do you want? We have it.
Yeah, I'm happy to put all the links in, but honestly, if you find our webpage, we've got all the links there as well, so people can just jump on there and have
great stuff. So I'll stick all them below. And James, it was absolutely fantastic talking to you. And as always, I'm getting so many tips for myself, never mind for my students. So I really, really appreciate you coming on.
I love it. Thanks, Jenny. See you.
And as I mentioned, if you prefer to read instead, check out my blog post, which also includes the podcast episode and a video. Thanks a million for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.